What's poppin', my friends, my family? What's up? Welcome to another episode of The Good Faith Show. I'm your host, Andre Morton, and The Good Faith Show is only exclusively on the ATP Network. You can catch the ATP Network on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, and Twitter. And also, too, we on Kick as well, but it seems like I'm having trouble streaming to Kick. I don't know whether it's on StreamYard's in or what. I mean, I see a few other people started to use Kick and like they streaming on it fine. So I might have to contact StreamYard after I get done with this live stream. So how everybody doing today? Yesterday I took a mental break from this because like some of you guys gotta know this shit takes a lot out of you. It does. I know some of you guys like might not know the intricacies of going live. Like you think I'm just talking shit behind a microphone, but you know, but also too, you gotta be, you giving out the news, and then you gotta articulate and all that stuff, and it takes a lot of you. So yesterday I took a break, um, but I'm back, um, and yeah, so I have a few shameless plugs for y'all. Follow the official ATP Network Twitter account. On the bottom of your ticker, it says ATP Network 247. Like the video, it's free, don't cost you nothing. Also, subscribe if you just not watching this on YouTube and Rumble, especially. Um, and also, too, let's get the ATP Network to 1.3K on YouTube, man. Like, that's amazing. Um, the growth. And also, too, so much going on in Gaza right now. So, if you can throw a bone or share it, go to GazaFunds.com. Help out what you can. I'm not forcing anybody to do this. This is voluntary. So, but my thing is, if you talk about Palestine a lot, then you should do something. Like, you know, not only tweet about it or make a video about it or post about it or talk about your friends and family. Do something too, like GazaFunds.com. Like I'm just saying. So yeah, man. It's not a jam-packed show today. I got a TikTok video and I got two Piers Morgan videos. Oh God, Piers Morgan. Man, that guy, I tell you. Piers Morgan is such a grifter, man. I'm sorry. Man, I think a lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's what I get from Piers Morgan. And also to Trump. Um, Trump is a petty motherfucker, man. Like goddamn, like Harvard is having a backbone and saying no, we ain't caving to your demands, and now Trump wants to end all federal contracts with Harvard. So anyway, without further ado, let's start with this TikTok video. Um, Please note I will pause in between because this video is 8 minutes long and he breaks a lot of shit down. Um, so yeah, here we go.
About the situation in Memphis right now, I believe that it's stage one of a Flint level crisis, but it's a little different. So here's kind of the gist, right? Elon's project, XAI's project, is going to build one of the largest data centers in the world.
You know, I forgot about that. Said Elon gonna put his XAI um project in Memphis. Like, but you say to yourself, why Memphis though? Like, um, I have my theory on it. I believe that like they know that this project takes a lot of water. Well, I'm gonna explain why I think he's wants it. He wants to put it there, but I'm gonna let him continue a little bit more.
Right, it just in Memphis. It's gonna pull 5.7 million gallons of water per day from Memphis' sand aquifer, doing it with no meaningful public input. Right, it's the city's only water source. This is sacred fresh water for them, and it's being treated like a tech utility right now. Memphis already had leaky, aging pipes in underserved neighborhoods, and
My thing is, what any other neighborhoods in major cities don't have those problems, but yeah, Elon Musk, you know, to drain what already is, suspect resources as it is. Like, since the aquifer is Memphis' only water source, God forbid if, they water system fail, it's gonna be another Flint crisis. I mean, holy shit.
Previous boil water orders during storms, right? So adding a mega corporation drawing millions of gallons of water daily creates a strain on that.
So basically, from what he's saying is they boiling water, have boiling water notices, which telling me like they water system isn't all like isn't up to spec. Isn't up to spec. So got just like Jackson, they water system wasn't up to spec, and you know, and shit hit the fan, and people water system is still fucked up down there. So, and I'm an hour away from Jackson, by the way. So, yeah, yeah, man. I'm gonna continue.
System that it wasn't designed for. And there's a lack of transparency going on. The city mayor is reshuffling key city boards. The county commissioner is under federal indictment. Probably won't mean a lot. But the AI project's being rushed forward. They're holding it, right? Because the lobbyists got them. They backed by political and financial pressure.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They, Elon and XAI. They bringing money in. They paying these politicians to bring this project in, and like he finna say down the video, it's like, why don't the citizens of the city, the people that live there, why they don't have no input on this? Now, if I lived in Memphis, I would say hell to the no. Like, this is going to drain our water system is already suspect enough as it is, and then this rich kook that's rich off government subsidies is gonna put his XAI project in our city, and it's gonna drain our resources. Fuck that. No.
This is exactly how Flint's collapse started. Backroom decisions, economic bait, dismissing public outcry. And here's some of the things that we gotta understand. That when Flint happened, Flint's people, there was outcry, but it was ignored, right? But still a little follow through. With Memphis, they haven't even been consulted yet, right? We're talking about a potential.
Yeah, but shout out to Jordan Sheridan, by the way. He covered Flint to the T. He's right. Like, yeah, like once Obama drunk that water, you remember that? And they said, "Oh, the water's fine." Then the media stopped talking about it. And the craziest thing is the governor and some other officials in Michigan should have been prosecuted for literally giving people cancer, making people sick. Like that's like, these politicians are the real fucking criminals, man. It's not somebody stealing steaks out of Walmart. Like, sometimes you got to ask yourself, why are they stealing steaks? I don't think they stealing to enjoy it, because they desperate. These motherfuckers know what they doing. Like, they know they putting people at risk, but they love money so much and they love power so much, they willing to, like, ain't none of their family members that got sick from uh, lead pipes, pipe poisoning and all that shit. Tell you, man.
Aquifer depletion and future toxins down the line, because there's not going to be a clear line of accountability. This is beyond lead poisoning. This is a 64% black population that is getting, literally extracted from, right? Massive private extraction for AI data use. This is, we're talking about XAI and Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. They're literally taking all of that water, right? Like, and we're saying, oh, they're going to go, oh, it's not that much. Yeah, hold on. Flint was a public failure. It got to be. But Memphis risks becoming a privately sanctioned extraction zone. That's what I'm getting at. Where infrastructure isn't poisoned immediately, but bought out from under the people. So the water crisis won't even come in brown tap water this time. It'll come in vanishing water pressure and higher bills with no accountability when it's gone. Because they don't even care about climate change. So when the water goes away, like how water sometimes does, there's not gonna be accountability. Memphis is getting soft colonized by data capitalism.
So once Memphis water goes away, God forbid if it's a drought or something like that, we have a massive drought like we did last year in the South. I remember that. Like, what these people gonna do? Take baths with, like he said, the water pressure is gonna be low because there's not enough water for all of the mostly black population in the city. So you say to yourself, what they gonna do? Take baths with bottled water? Like, yeah, I totally get this is,
That's exactly what happened. Flint was poisoned in public. Memphis is being drained in silence. But here's the thing. Because even though it's not about poison water yet, that's some people disarm.
It's a shame that you have to get news like this. You know, I'm not shaming this guy. Shout out to him. Like he did his work. You know, like you know, I'm saying like it's a shame that you have to get your information from TikTok or Twitter or YouTube. Like, local media isn't talking about this because local media is complicit. Let's just keep it 100. National media isn't talking about this. They don't give a fuck. Like, you know, this is why they want to ban TikTok, man. It's not because, oh, China is stealing your data. No. It's because a lot of people are speaking the truth and they want to keep more Americans dumb as possible. Like, I did, I knew about the XAI project, but I didn't knew the consequences of it if it becomes into fruition. Like, holy shit. But he about to get into how much gallons of water that this project will consume from the aquifer.
When they hear that, it's about ownership and extraction. It's not a leg crisis. It's a slow siphoning of this aquifer that matters that much to them by global tech powers, right? For political access with limited oversight. So the strategy got to be different. We're gonna go over some things I just have in mind, right? Flint taught us one thing. If you don't control the decision, you'll inherit the disaster immediately, regardless, right? So immediate public hearings about XII's data center water draw gotta happen. And it has to be third party, or at least get it required, third party environmental audits before any new permits can be issued. And we really need this.
That's a major important part right there. Because if you let the city or the state do environmental reports, of course they're gonna fabricate it, saying, "Oh no, this don't affect out the water. The water be fine in Memphis and Shelby County, because the county too. No, it'll be fine. You know, yeah, of course. Like it happens all the time. So yeah, you get a third party source to actually tell these people the truth. Like, and again, one thing that really drives me crazy is like any new major projects that come to your city, it should be public meetings. It should be, reports coming out. Like how much water consumption this would take, how much power resources this would take. But like he said, like this is done behind the scenes, you know, and the city council, the mayor, like he said, the county commissioners, all of them are complicit in this. If this happens, if Memphis become the next Jackson or next Flint, it's bound to happen. Like you notice about those two cities, Jackson and Flint, right? They're not mostly white populations of people, mostly black. And this is why us black people said, that's why we the most exploited people in this country. Because it's like either the capitalists exploit our labor, our resources get exploited by greed in Flint, for example. Like there's no reason to switch from the Detroit's water system to the Flint River, because Flint River is full of toxins from GM. That's crazy. The home plant poisoning rivers. Like, surprise, surprise, right? And then Jackson, Mississippi, lack of fucking resources there too. The Pearl River, the water treatment they need a new water system, but they nigger rigged it for the longest time. And I remember even like 10 years ago, like people said even back 2015, 2014, they had boil water notices a lot. So it's been going on. And, this shit wouldn't happen in Beverly Hills. It wouldn't happen in fucking what that part of Tennessee. It wouldn't happen in Bartlett, Tennessee. It wouldn't happen in San Francisco, Hollywood, or Park Avenue in New York City. But you ask yourself, like, why did Elon choose Memphis? Could chose anywhere else. But let me let it continue, man.
This is what we need to be talking about when we have this little story. A citywide moratorium on all major water withdrawal projects until residents have direct input. That's what we need to be calling for. I don't live there, but that's the conversation we need to throw around these names. The water belongs to the people. You don't need to wait for it to be poisoned to defend it. Okay, Baltimore, one of the only cities with rights over their water, right? Can't even sell it. Privatization will always come disguised as modernization. It always does that. Every time. Baltimore's water privatization battle showed that corporate interest sells efficiency. Here's the thing. Codify water sovereignty.
And you remember in California, damn, when the LA wildfires happened, Nestle, somebody from Nestle owns the water in California. Like, yeah, like capitalism is so sickening to a point where water is owned by oligarchs. Like, this is where we at now, man. That's
In
crazy.
city law, the aquifer cannot be commodified without a public vote, right? That kind of thing. Labor unions, church networks, health advocates, into a former water justice council if they want to go do something about it. Again, we can't make people get up, but this is just logic, right? This is just logic I'm running through, and expose the greenwashing of these AI projects that drain resources but offer few long-term community benefits.
And I know people will say, well, this XAI project would bring a lot of jobs to the city, right? No, like, don't you know what the purpose of AI is for? Bill Gates been telling folks, like, hey, AI is really meant to replace human jobs. People been to people's credit. I hear a lot of what people be talking about, this was the inevitable future. Like, yeah. Not only black people probably jobs will probably be taken away by this, then their water will be gone. So it's just a double whammy, man. And like, how can you rush this through without getting a vote from the people? Like, it's not like you building a fucking Starbucks or something like that. Like, you don't need no vote for that. But something that takes a whole lot of natural resources, the people's resources. Yeah, that needs to be discussed. Like,
Benefits at all. Ain't nobody over there getting a plan. Nobody over there getting nothing. They getting water stolen, right? It's resource capture. It's not a tech miracle, right? But the news is gonna keep talking about it. And here's the thing: if you wait this out, right, they'll wait you out, right? And you'll become the national problem. The silence around them, right? Like around Jackson too, right? Is that
right.
black-led cities are expected to collapse quietly unless they interrupt the national narrative. This is one of those things that's really interesting, right? We really do need, by the end of this, and this gonna be like a recurring theme you'll hear in like a lot of these water-based videos. All those water poison places that had to fight off these corporations, Baltimore leaders, Flint leaders, Jackson leaders, a regional water summit, tie it all together. Get the HBCUs, get the environmental justice coalitions. Y'all gotta like hanging out more. Gotta like hanging out more. And the thing is that there needs.
I don't disagree with what he said, but the problem is that if they are tied to those corporations that want to extract the water, then what's the use? You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, like for that to happen, it gotta be 100% transparency, no co-ops, no infiltration, no shit like that. Cause you know how these companies work. They'll probably go to the HBCUs, give them a little grant money, like for example Jackson State or something like that. Give them a little grant money, you know, to basically sell them, off like, hey, this project will not only help the people of the city, it'll help the HBCUs, it'll provide more jobs, which is a lie. So, yeah, I gotta be careful with that,
To
man.
be like a digital campaign relating to like being honest about this type of thing. We like you could tie it to 4th of July, DNC, whatever. Nationalize this type of conversation. Though, if the thing is that the world will watch when your city acts like it's sacred, not broken, right? The brokenness is profitable, so they just take the profit and they run with that kind of narrative. So I would say just
Exactly. Like Elon takes the profit from XAI, you know, runs out with the money while the citizens of Memphis will be without water. Like, this is why capitalism needs to die, man. It needs to die. It needs to go. It needs to go. Like capitalism 101. Like what he just explained. Let me continue.
Just go. See, the thing is that it's concerning, right? It's concerning because at the end of it, this type of thing could go either or. You could know all the answers and still watch it happen, and I've done that before too, and that was really tough. But I would say just as long as we keep going for emergency teachings, really trying to make sure people understand the conversation, but also legally demanding that all contracts tied to XAI be made public. That's one thing for sure. But it in these type of situations, it's always so defunded because when I have ideas like a defense fund, right? Because they almost need a defund solely to defend their aquifer because that's their only water source, right? It ain't like it's gonna be something else because they need something like that for legal and organizing work. But somebody can't beat 80 people. But also, we're gonna talk about something interesting now. This is, if you stayed this long, this is gonna be something interesting. I don't want to encourage something called shock framing, right? Why would you let Musk tap into your heart? Why your water? See, the thing is that it literally needs to feel like something sacred is being robbed. That's what I'm getting at.
Exactly. That right there. Like in a way, you live in a city, the billionaire that wants to tap into your water, or the world richest man, however you call this motherfucker, wants to tap into your water because I suspect that a depopulation technique. And out of the realm of possibility, think about it. The only water resource, you put XAI there, which is not going to guarantee jobs because AI is supposed to take away jobs from people. So you kill off never mind, man. I gotta watch myself on YouTube, but y'all kind of get what I'm saying. Like water is the most vital. Like everybody needs water. You need water to drink, to eat, to cook with. And Ela, he said at one time that it's too many black and brown babies been born. He want more white babies. And Memphis is 64% black. So yeah, like if we extract their water resources, most likely it might depopulate some people. Like I don't know.
And in the conversation, and city council, they need to use a water usage cap ordinance now. Flint was reactive, Jackson was ignored, Baltimore was privatized, and Memphis still has a chance right now, right? But we got to stop acting like unregulated extraction of black resources is like fire or progress. It's not. It's not. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all the number one more time because it's important enough. They are taking several million gallons, 5.7 million gallons of water per day. That's what I got on the sheet right here.
5.7 million gallons of water from if the project goes into fruition. It's not, I don't think they even built it yet. 5.7 million gallons. Think about that, Dad. A day, not a year. A day. Like that's going to cause a lot of problems. That's a lot of water, man. Like yeah, that's a lot of water.
5.7 million. I don't even know how big the aquifer is, but hold on, y'all can just watch me Google this. This is actually insane. Because the thing is, this is how I really sit here sometimes with this kind of thing. Because you got to be able to just say you don't know the answer. See, it's 7,000 miles across, portions of 8 states. How much water? Let's see that. 100 trillion gallons of water overall, right? 57 trillion in Shelby County alone. And you think they're going to close down that facility? They taking 5.7 million. I'm almost certain over the math. Regardless of any disaster, they are absolutely going to prioritize them first. And they not closing that. You know their future with AI, they think it's shining and bright.
Yeah. Like, yeah. They saying, hey, AI is worth it. AI is worth taking black people's water. AI is going to make Elon a whole lot of money. It's going to make these billionaires a whole lot of money. Like I'm going to say, fuck these Negroes. That's what they thinking. Now, he said 57 trillion in Shelby County. Let me pull up my calculator right quick. Let me see my calculator. Got my on my computer. Uh, let me see. Let me see. 7 trillion. I mean, 7 million a day times 300 a year. 365. Let me see. 365. That's my God, a mercy. Over 2 billion. 2 billion 2 billion gallons of water per year. Oh my God, bro. That's a lot. That's a lot, bro. 2 billion gallons of water a year that this XAI will extract from that aquifer from Shelby County out of 57 trillion. Bro, that's a problem, yo. It's a
That thing
problem.
is gonna be sucking y'all dry. It's like a literal yellow straw in our pouch that we're calling Memphis. So this is just my overview of the situation and what possibly could be done. Literally, any ideas on this type of thing are fruitful. Want people to know any ideas on it. So yeah, just that. We're gonna talk about Jackson 2.
Okay, so we done with that. Um, so yeah, man, y'all heard him. Um, Now you see why that us leftists wants to get rid of capitalism. This is why it's called late stage capitalism. Like shit like that. There's no need to make a XAI facility to withdraw all of that water resource. Like the AI, man, like y'all think AI now is annoying? Like you see AI on social media and shit like that. Like, bro, they want to take it up a level higher. See, the reason why they putting AI in our faces on our phones and shit is because they want us to get entrenched with it, so that when it comes a time where it actually start taking our jobs, then we'll be like, but AI, so useful though. They want to keep us dumb. So yeah, man. If you're in Memphis, man, like, you need to, yeah, y'all need to get some organizing, man. Like, cause this is unacceptable. Like, why are they keeping this? Why are they keeping this from the public? Like, people probably live in Memphis don't even know that how much water is going to be taken away from the aquifer, bro. Shelby County alone. So yeah, man. Ah, man, I hate capitalism. I swear. All right, guys, on to the first story. All right, guys. So the first thing I want to talk about is Media's son and what that other motherfucker name? John Spencer. Um, Basically talk about what's going on in Gaza, the humanitarian crisis, and Piers Morgan changed his stance on it. I mean, it's still wonky because, well, as I play this, y'all gonna understand why I said that. But I mean, this is an interesting conversation. Like, I'm not on the Medi train for sure. Like, there's a lot of things I disagree with Medi with. But again, it's like when you on the side of the Palestinian people and you tell the truth and you don't, you go hard on it. I respect you. So let me play this, and y'all know the usual. If y'all want to watch the whole thing, I'm telling y'all now, because I interrupt a lot. I know probably that's annoying to some of y'all. Watch it yourself. It's on Piers Morgan channel. You'll find it on there. So, all right, here we go.
This Mehdi, welcome back to Uncensored. Listen, you and I have talked about this war in Gaza for ever since it started. This phase of the.
It's not a war. It's a genocide. See what I'm saying? Like, what war? How is it? I thought a war is between two countries or some shit. Like Gaza is not its own sovereign state, sovereign country. Like that just gets on my damn nerves, bro. Like, but let me continue. I'm not gonna try to interrupt a whole lot.
The 75-year conflict, and I have resisted going as far as you have done in your criticism of the Israeli government. I resist no more. I think we've reached common ground about what we view is happening and has been happening through this period of this blockade, which frankly is just starvation of the people there, including so many innocent young women and children. And I think that the incessant bombing and killing.
Like, this genocide been going on for over 18 months now. And people are now starting to realize that, damn, man, like, I was on the side of Israel, but damn, man, you starving these little children? Like, a little bit extreme, ain't it? Like, even Piers Morgan. Like, I don't like Piers Morgan. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, Piers Morgan is full of shit in my eyes. But again, it's like, people could change. I mean, still wonky, but people could change. And this John Spencer good dude, like, yeah, I know what he about. Like, I don't know why he even playing this, but let me continue. Oh, God.
And we don't know how many civilians have been killed, but it is on a daily basis. It looks like hundreds of people every day, with no apparent attempt, it seems to me, to have any real plan for how this ends or what happens when it ends, other than if you look at what Smodrich has been saying, probably the most right-wing member of a very right-wing government, he is talking in a genocidal language about kicking all the Palestinians out. So I think you and I have reached a place in the last few weeks where we are in agreement. But my question for you, Mehdi, is how does this end?
I don't know the answer to that question, Piers, and I'm glad we're in agreement. I wish we weren't. Actually, I wish I had been wrong and you were right. I wish that a year...
How does this end? Simple. I know one solution. It's a lot of solutions. Either foreign military intervention, like I think that's what it's going to have to take, or the United States can, put a weapons embargo on Israel. Stop sending money and weapons. Like, Israel have to be forced to stop. But until then, Trump could say he wants to end the war in Gaza. War, Jesus. He wants to end the genocide in Gaza quickly and all that shit. But again, if you still sending Israel weapons and like, you're talking on both sides of your ass cheek, bro. Like which one is it? Either you're gonna stop sending the weapons, then Israel will stop, or you're gonna just say shit that you don't mean and continue to give him what he wants. Oh, God.
Ago when I said on your show, you said, well, if it's not about the hostages, what's it about? And I said, it's about depopulating Gaza. It's about conquering Gaza. I wish I'd been wrong. But as you said, Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister in the Israeli government, said this week, we are there to conquer, cleanse, and remain. Those are his words. We are disassembling Gaza, he said. We are leaving it as piles of rubble. He says, we're doing something that no one's done in the world before. He bragged out loud, and he said, yes, the Gazans will have to leave. So...
Look at that Mars John Spencer motherfucker. Look at him just spurking like people like that, man. They just so psychotic in the head, bro. Like you don't help for people like that. Like the Smotrich said, Mehdi said, like Smotrich said that he wants to wipe out Gaza completely, and this man smirking and shit. What a total piece of crap, man.
All of those things are stuff some of us were saying last year. I wish we hadn't been vindicated in this horrific way. The killing is ongoing. The starvation is ongoing. And look, I do hope that a dam is bursting. You mentioned the genocide word. Shmuel Lederman, who is an Israeli researcher of genocide, spent much of 2024 saying it's not a genocide, it's not a genocide. He was interviewed by a Dutch newspaper last week. He said, I've changed my position. It is a genocide. He said, in my field, there's a consensus among genocide scholars that it's a genocide. In fact, that Dutch newspaper interviewed 7 leading scholars of genocide. Every single one said, we think what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. In fact, this week, Piers, you have an Israeli former general, Yair Golan, saying a sane country does not attack civilians, does not kill babies as a hobby, and does not expel civilian populations. That is Yair Golan, the former deputy chief of the Israeli military, prominent Israeli politician. He was a hero on October the 7th, fought Hamas himself on October the 7th. This is what he said this week.
Okay, John Spencer, you've been kind of pulling a lot of faces there. You obviously don't agree. But given that so many allies of Israel are now raising massive alarm bells about what is happening, you can't be comfortable, surely, with what is going on in Gaza, are you?
We're Phoenix Energy.
Absolutely not. I think it's horrible. I think there are people suffering. I just am not misinformed on who is the cause of that suffering. that it isn't Israel, that war isn't a crime. War should be avoided at all costs, and Israel did that. And this war didn't start 75 years ago.
It's not a goddamn war, bro. Stop saying that shit.
This war started on October 7th when Hamas invaded Israel and tried to destroy and
These Zionists, boy. That's all they got to say. October. Let's forget what led up to October the 7th. Let's forget about all the stuff that happened before. Let's forget about all that. October the 7th when Hamas, invaded Israel. Like, don't you know that Hamas is, Hamas. The reason why Hamas is formed because of Israel, right? Because Israel killed those people's parents, and most of them are orphans. Because they're sick and tired of being fucking pushed around, so they formed a militia group, rightfully so, within international law. Like, these the same, like, that idiot is the same fool that'll say, I need to read a book, I need to educate myself, I'm just a dumbass idiot online, getting my propaganda from, pro-Hamas sycophants, which is a lie. But he don't know how to read books, but it is what it is, man.
Actually did genocidal acts. I agree that there's a lot of suffering happening in Gaza, and it's the list of people who are responsible. Israel's not on it in my list. Hamas is on it, and I actually have solutions. You asked Mehdi for a solution.
So wait. So Hamas is committing the genocide? Huh? Did he just say... Wait. Did this idiot just say that Hamas is committing a genocide? Yeah, I believe, they say that, people that support Palestine is bought and paid for by Hamas. Well, I could say, like, he's bought and paid for by Israel, definitely, to say some stupid shit like that.
I have solutions based on the history of war. Number one solution is to encourage Egypt to open the gate that they control and create a humanitarian zone. Let every woman, child, and elderly person out of Gaza, just like you.
Wait, I just thought about something. I did mutual aid. A lot of those mutual aids was for, like, Palestinians to escape Gaza because of what's going on. But I just really thought about something, like, why do these people have to leave their own land? Like, first of all, it's their land to begin with. Like, why do Egypt and Jordan have to open up their land? Like, they don't have the resources to provide for all of these Palestinian people. That's what they've been saying. And now you hear Trump say he wants to expel them to Libya? Like, Libya ain't got... Man, I'm so tired of these fools, man. I'm telling you, man, like, the stuff I really want to say about these people that talk this bullshit on a daily basis, like, I would get our channel on YouTube especially taken off her. But, sometimes you gotta hold your feelings. Like sometimes I really think about making my Patreon again and just going off on these fools, man.
You and I have discussed in the past about Ukraine. 5 million women, children, elderly left Ukraine to escape Russia's evil and bombardments. That could be done today, and it's criminal that it hasn't happened today. Now, Mehdi uses experts, although I thought, credentialism and expert theory was a bad thing today. I've been on the ground, although I've heard that that's a bad thing as well. And what's missing here is, again, which is why I was shaking my head, is that you believe, based on statements of politicians that are not the actual government and the decision makers of the institution, that Israel is intentionally causing this harm. That's false as well. Point the finger at Hamas.
Jesus Christ. That's Hamas' fault that all this shit is happening. No, it's not Israel's fault. That's something, man, the logic of this fool is, yeah. Like, see, this is the dumb shit that, this is the shit right here. He's the guy they'll tell you that the house is not on fire, even though you can see the flames coming out the windows and shit, fire coming out the roof, like, bro, who's dropping the 2,000-pound bombs that the United States gave to Israel? Israel was dropping them in Gaza, bro. Not Hamas. What? Tell you.
As you've said in the past, Piers, and I'm sorry we've lost you, maybe you and I can go to Gaza because it's
Well,
not
yeah,
true that
well,
international
actually,
media
it's
can't go
interesting.
to
I mean,
Gaza.
look, just on that, John. Look, you haven't lost me. I
Yeah,
still,
go to Gaza.
I
Oh, Piers, you sipping for those Hamas supporters, man. No, man, we could go to Gaza together and see what all Hamas has done because Israel didn't done nothing. Israel's innocent. Come on, bro. Like you got goddamn Piers Morgan realizing that he was wrong. You got Piers Morgan realizing he was wrong. Like I'm telling you, man. Like the tides are turning, man. You know that's a good sign, man. This is what all of the protesting, all of the videos. Unfortunately, a lot of those graphic videos, like this shit's just wow, man. Like everybody that seen all of that stuff, man, like that stuff is in your brain forever, bro. Like there's no like everything ever since October 7th, like everything just been off. Like everything. Like it's so unreal, like, the Holocaust, right? The Jews and shit. Like you learn about that, you learn what Hitler did. You say, oh, that will never happen again. That's a mistake that the world learns. Then now, fuck saying genocide. It's not a genocide anymore, man. It's a Holocaust, bro. This is a modern day Holocaust. It's not a genocide. Like we beyond the genocide point. Shout out to other comrades that have been saying this first. Like, forget that, man. Forget that, man. Tell you.
I still think Hamas is a terrorist organization which committed one of the worst terrorist crimes of the last century. And they should absolutely.
I wish Mehdi Hassan pushed back on Piers Morgan. I guess Mehdi is shocked that Piers Morgan turned the tides a little bit. Like he sees finally what Israel is doing. But see, this is when education really kicks in. Like Mehdi should have said, Piers, like Hamas had a right in international law to do what they did. Like, yeah, like, nobody's for violence, but sometimes, man, like, you got to take action to your own hands. You see what I'm saying? Like, calling Hamas a terrorist group, I mean, they're not a terrorist group. They are just, like, again, like I said, they're a militia, Okay. Like, Mehdi, he kind of quiet there. Like, you should have spoke up right there, man. Like, see how, and one thing about Piers too, like, see how he tried to both sides it. Like, he's heavily on Mehdi's side, and then he telling that John Spencer dude, like, I ain't got my British voice right, but I admit Hamas is a terrorist organization. Like, come on, bro. You should pass that too.
They no longer have any power in that region. They should absolutely be dismantled as a political force and the rest of it. I just see no evidence that Israel's mission statement to eradicate.
Bro, if Hamas is this horrible group of people, then why did they try to get, willing to, Eden Alexandra, which is an American citizen in as Israeli, so I guess he got dual citizenship. Like, they surrendered him so that aid could finally come into Gaza. Steve Witkoff, fuck him too. Like, he knew that wasn't gonna happen. Like, see, these people ain't shit. Like, why would they do that? So that shows me that Hamas is not wrong here.
Okay.
And actually, Israel is a terrorist organization. I mean, like you just said earlier. See how you eat both sides of your mouth? Like, jeez.
Hamas has worked. In fact, conversely, more and more reports are coming out that for every Hamas terrorist who's been killed, they're being replaced by 4 or 5 people who share that ideology. So the mission statement isn't working. And you say that Israel is not intentionally killing innocent people, but it knows it is killing a lot of innocent people. So its argument is we're going after Hamas, they're embedded in civilian populations, but they are killing a lot of innocent civilians every single day.
I can't believe this coming out of his mouth. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Holy shit. You know, the Hamas stuff I disagree with, but yeah, duh, that's what Mehdi Hassan been saying. And Jank been saying, to his credit, because Jank be on there a lot, and all of us online been saying, Piers, like, welcome to the club, man. Welcome to being on the right side of this situation. Like, yeah, they're intentionally trying to kill innocent people. Like, the excuse for bombing a hospital and schools is, hey, Hamas got built tunnels down there, you know, and that's not even true. But let me continue.
And not just killing them, they're now starving them, which will also lead to deaths, which is a deliberate, willful act of trying to kill people. Would you accept that?
Watch what smoothies do to our body.
Are smoothies?
It's a war crime.
No, not at all. No. I mean,
Starving people?
You can have your own opinions based on your assessment. Yeah, absolutely not starving people. So you're talking about the last 2 months of trucks not going in because Hamas was diverting it. Although the
Did this guy say Israel is not starving people? What in the... Bro, I know he know that Israel played around and had fake like trucks were coming in for aid, and it turns out that those bags was just body bags. Like, they look like flour, you know, but they was actually body bags. Like, what? Israel ain't... man, boy, them checks, boy, that Israel right to this guy, man, must be huge or something. Gotta be. You can't be this damn stupid. Like, you know, it's easy to call people stupid and ignorant, but a lot of these people, they know what's going on. They just been captured. They've been bought and paid for. Like, this guy's job is to spread pro-Israel propaganda around to people. It's his job, man. Israel is not starving people? Even, oh my God, bro.
42 days prior to that, 25,000 trucks went into Gaza. There is absolutely people.
I mean, Mehdi doing a good job in this interview, but he just too calm, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, sometimes, man, like, fuck morals. Like, this is when you need, like, to cut this fool off, man. Because this guy, like, they giving this guy too much power to spread this bullshit propaganda. Too much power, man. I'm sorry. I can't, man. I just can't sit there and let this guy just say that shit like that. Ain't no way in hell.
People hungry in Gaza. But Israel is not intentionally starving civilians. Is it trying to starve Hamas combatants in this war that was started on October 7th?
Wait, I missed that part too. He said Hamas blocking aid. How Hamas blocking aid? Damn, Hamas, they make it seem like Hamas got a whole lot of power. Like, oh my God, bro. Oh, I'm losing.
No, that the evidence doesn't show that. This is the damn lies of statistics and using certain organizations that are using trusted agents. Here's a good, for instance, recently, Mehdi put on a British doctor in southern Gaza on his show. Maybe you've had him on, and he's talking about how bad the hospitals are. He's sitting in a European hospital in southern Gaza where they just killed Mohammed Sinwar, who was in a tunnel underneath the hospital. This double standard about Israel, this double standard about war is problematic, Piers, and here's why. Is we're going to validate the practice of taking hostages. We're going to validate the use of your own population as human shields, because that's what Hamas is doing. Now, innocent civilians, of course, innocent civilians have died because Hamas does things like not let them evacuate when they're told to evacuate, like actually holding children in their arms while they shoot at the IDF. And again, we can go, and Mehdi can probably go with Al Jazeera to the Hamas side and look for ourselves on what you think Israel is trying to do. I also have well, what did you want Israel to do on October 7th? And had the world not stopped and done things like don't go to Rafah where the hostages are, where Yahya Sinwar is,
all right,
this war would be over by now.
Okay, I'll bring Mehdi to respond. I mean, the one thing I would say is Israel's ongoing refusal to allow international journalists to operate freely in Gaza is a suppression of us uncovering the
But I have a question. Like, did Hamas blow up the the World Central Kitchen trucks that were trying to bring food to Palestine to Gaza? Did they blow up damn, what them other people? Um International Food Workers. I forgot the other organization. Like, yeah, World Central Kitchen. Then it's another organization that does aid. So that is God logic. Hamas is the reason why Palestinians are starving, not Israel. That controls the electricity, that controls the water. Israel controls everything that goes into Gaza, but Hamas does. So Hamas does. Okay, yeah, them checks, boy, they must be real big. This guy.
reality. You say come into Gaza.
That's
Actually,
not true. Fox News.
No. Israel
Trey Yanks,
Israel has
CNN.
barred almost every international journalist from getting anywhere near it. You know that, and I know that, and it's
I'll be there for my sixth time next month.
It's unprecedented for international journalists to be banned in this way from a war zone. It's unprecedented, and it does beg the question, John.
I bet this idiot would say that Hamas killed journalists too, which is a lie again. Like, yeah, Israel killed journalists that's doing on the ground investigative work, but Israel has no fault in this, according to John Spencer. Oh, jeez.
Why? Now, Mehdi, your response to what John has said there. Now, everybody knows how much I enjoy my in the hip.
Gotta skip this ad right quick. It's an ad. Oh. All right, here we go.
I mean, I don't know how I can respond. So much gaslighting from the very beginning. John has been on the ground in Gaza, yeah, as an embed. I love it when John and Douglas Murray and these people say, oh, we've been on the ground in Gaza. Yeah, as guests of the Israeli military that's doing the killing, starving, and maiming. And you've come back and done exactly what they wanted to do. You've done their propaganda for them.
If he actually been on the ground in Gaza, then he will have a totally different opinion. I don't think this guy been on the ground. He bullshitting.
Journalists have not been allowed freely into Gaza. That's why every major media organization on planet Earth has said to the Israeli government, you must allow journalists in. The Palestinian journalists who are there have been killed in record numbers. Of course, Piers, you're right. They want to hide what they're doing. That's why they're killing the journalists there and blocking the journalists from coming in. This idea that he's been on the ground. Yeah, I did interview a doctor, a British plastic surgeon, Dr. Tom Patoka. And by the way, he wasn't in the European hospital because the hospital got bombed by Israel. So he was in another hospital. And he talked to me about how he has to treat patients who have maggots in their wounds. He has to treat patients without limbs. He has to treat children. I've interviewed multiple doctors on the ground in Gaza, actually in Gaza, not hanging around with Israeli military. And they've all said the same thing. American doctors, British doctors, Canadian doctors. They've all talked about how many kids they saw with sniper bullets to the head and chest. Israel does intentionally kill civilians. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant were indicted at the International Criminal Court for precisely those charges, for willful killing of Palestinians, for murder and persecution. That's why they've been indicted. That's why every human rights group in the world.
And let me say something about the International Criminal Court too and ICJ. They're just useless organizations, man. Like, how are these guys still running around free? Benjamin Netanyahu, like, should be underneath the fucking jail at this point. Like, they realize that, hey, this guy's guilty of killing innocent people, but he's still running around here. And the most really thing that really makes me dislike America so much now, like, I already didn't like America, right, because the way it treats its people, but led Benjamin Netanyahu to the Capitol like he's a god king, knowing that all of the atrocities he's have done to the Palestinians, and they just treat him like he's royalty. Like, the United States it's just a clown show, man. It's a clown show, bro. A clown show.
Says war crimes are being committed. They've killed people holding white flags. We've seen it with our own eyes. They've bombed buildings without warning with families inside, like the Al-Dos family that I often cite in October 2023. They've dropped 2,000-pound bombs on refugee camps full of hundreds of people. They have killed 7 aid workers in a clearly marked World Central Kitchen aid convoy. They've bombed World Food Programme convoys, leading to Cindy McCain, the wife of the most pro-Israeli senator of my lifetime, to come out and condemn Israel for attacking aid workers. John wants wants you to ignore Cindy McCain and British and American doctors and human rights groups and your own lying eyes watching people with white flags being gunned down. He wants you to believe him and his Israeli military minders.
Okay, Mehdi, before we go back to John to respond to that, the question that he raised, and I think I've asked you this before, but I'm still curious about, given the way this has all played out, how should, and I saw Bassem Youssef being asked this on trigonometry last week, I think it was, and he struggled to answer. How should Israel have responded to a terrorist attack, which, just to remind viewers, over 1,200 people were murdered, nearly 7,000 more were wounded, over 250 people, including babies and Holocaust survivors, were kidnapped and taken hostage, and many of those have died. How should Israel have responded?
And also, Piers, can I add a point? Like, the ones that died, I really do believe that Israel murdered their own hostages, too, according to Hamas. So I definitely believe, I believe what Hamas said rather than what Israel says. Like, I don't think Hamas killed those hostages. Israel killed their own people. Like, that shows you right there how genocidal, vile, evil these motherfuckers is. Like, they rather kill their own people just to kill more people. I just had to put that there, man.
To the biggest attack on its people and its land since its existence?
So there's no easy answer to that question, Piers, and you might not like the answer I give you, which is that Israel should have responded by abiding by international law, by sticking with the rules of armed conflict, by targeting only the people they believe carried out the crime. They should have used an international coalition of countries that was fully behind them. The majority of the world was behind Israel after the tragedy of October the 7th. And by the way, I have a longer memory than maybe some people in this country. After 9/11, I got asked the same question. Well, what should we do if we don't bomb Afghanistan? What should we do if we don't go after bin Laden, etc.? How did that work out? 23 years later, your pal Donald Trump, Piers, is taking pictures with the former leader of Al-Qaeda, who's still on a globally designated terrorist wanted list, right? That's where we came. The war on terror was a complete failure. And some of us who saw that, and by the way, Joe Biden even said this in one of his more coherent moments. He said Israel should learn from our lessons. Israel did not learn from the US lessons. And actually, even if you forget about all the innocent Palestinians they killed, even if you don't give a shit about the people of Gaza, even if you only care about the people of Israel, Israel's not any safer today. Israel is not winning this war. John said on Times Radio a year ago, I went back and checked, March of last year, John said, we're very close to winning. Israel's close to victory. Over a year later, they're not close to victory. They're just starving children and denying baby formula.
Yeah, starving, like he said, starving children and killing a whole lot of people. Yeah, that's winning. You winning. Easy win, I guess. Like, these people is just so goddamn psychotic.
And the former Israeli general who ran the Gaza division said a few months ago, Hamas is winning this war. So they've not made themselves any more secure. I don't have some perfect solution for what they should have done on October 7th, but I do think they shouldn't have killed 50 to 100,000 people, and they should have made themselves less secure. And by the way, the prime minister should have resigned because he's the one who let it happen on his watch.
Well, I certainly agree with that. And I do think there'll be a day of reckoning for Netanyahu. The problem is, John, that Netanyahu is facing corruption charges in a trial, which may well lead to his imprisonment if he's convicted. So there's no motivation for him to bring this to an end anytime soon. And listen, I agree with Mehdi. You know, this was supposed to have been a war that Israel, with its massively superior military, could have ended quite quickly. My question for you, John, you're a military expert, is when you look at the way that Israel went after Hezbollah, with that extraordinary pager attack that was unleashed on 3,000 members of Hezbollah. You think if you've got the capability to do that through Mossad and your other agencies, there were only 25,000 Hamas terrorists, we believe, at the start of this war. Why could they not have deployed similar sophisticated technology in a way that did not involve the mass slaughter of so many civilians in a place where the population is 50% under 18?
Sure. I mean, not to say that experts are a good thing, but Mehdi has said he doesn't know much about military affairs, but he does talk about it a lot. So in your question, it's pretty easy to answer, is that it's a clear sign that Israel did disengage from Gaza. And the human intelligence that was required to pull off a historic pager operation against Hezbollah couldn't be replicated because Israel didn't have that level of intelligence in Gaza because it had disengaged and allowed Hamas to build this, what is a military challenge no military has faced in the history of really any war. And the fact that Hezbollah did let the civilians get out of southern Lebanon as the war began against them is a telling marker of why people can't understand what's going on in Gaza. Now, you didn't ask me the question of what Israel should have done, because I actually teach urban warfare at this scale. I've actually studied the history of urban warfare from Stalingrad to Fallujah, Mosul, Mawar, you name it. And when I said those statements on Time Radio, if the world would have allowed Israel to continue, 5 divisions going heavy against Hamas, moving civilians out of harm's way, we'd be in a different place. And this hypocrisy of the numbers, right? So there's 3 types of...
It's a lie. It's a lie. This man know he's lying. That man is sitting on here getting paid to lie. Getting paid to lie. And I'm just sick of hearing this guy. Like, I really want to cut this shit off and just go ape shit crazy. But yeah, like, either October 7th happened or not. Let's just keep this 100. Like, this shit was playing, bro. It was playing from the start to do this. Like, and to be honest with you, Donald Trump, even though, a lot of my comrades don't talk about him much because, it is what it is, I'm leave that there. But, like, the Abraham Accords, like, basically saying Palestinians don't have the right to say shit. Like, hey, take the, stay in your lane. Like, you don't have a right to say it on your own country. So, I'll put a little bit more of this, I'm gonna move on.
Of lies, damn lies, and statistics. There's been 85,000 children under the age of 5 who have died from starvation in Yemen since the Yemen civil war. I don't see protests and I don't see daily coverage on what's going on in Yemen, where there's 2 million people actually starving.
That's a lie. A lot of people cover Yemen, dude. He's lying. Like, he's lying. Like, bro, I got a comrades that cover Yemen a lot. What are you talking about? Oh, God.
So I actually know what is possible to achieve the goals that Israel said, and I've interviewed Prime Minister Netanyahu myself. The goals haven't changed, and they are achievable.
See that right there? I'm gonna end it there because it goes on a little bit more, but I just can't. Like, that last part he said, yeah, I interviewed Mr. Netanyahu. Like, no shit, Mr. Bitch ass Netanyahu been telling you what to say on behalf of Israel's side. Like, yeah, man, people like John Spencer, man. Like, I'm not in for council culture, but people give this man too much of a platform, bro. Like, let him spill his bullshit, and then Mehdi should have came in more at him. Like, hey, like, this full of shit. So yeah, Mehdi did a good job. I wish he pushed back more on Piers and John Spencer, but it is what it is. So yeah, now I'm finna get to another topic. All right, guys. Yeah, man. Like, hey, that's how I'm listening at John Spencer and this Crowder dude talking this shit. Oh God. But anyway, now another Piers Morgan episode where they had Mark Lamont Hill and Steven Crowder on talking about the use of the N word, and Shallow Hendricks and Carmelo Anthony got brought up in here. So I'm gonna play it. This is towards the end because I'm not studying what the bullshit Steven Crowder was saying like in the beginning. But here we go. So yeah.
Welcome back to Uncensored. I saw your reaction in another podcast I think you did, where you were pretty aggrieved at what you thought I was trying to do there. And just to reiterate to you, in the moment, I was trying to expose her cowardice. And I listened to your impassioned immediate response to my challenge, and I immediately realized this would not be a smart thing to do. It certainly wasn't premeditated. It certainly...
Yeah, because you realize that what if somebody did you like that? Calls you a racial slur, Piers. Would you like it in front of your face? Somebody call you a racial slur? Like, I guess what he's saying is, since you a big and bad racist, go ahead and say it. But again, like, why would you say the N word in front of a black man? Like, why? Why? Oh boy. But let me continue.
It wasn't from anything other than a place of you are an unashamed racist who says you say this word all the time, including to black people. I bet you don't. And he was the same as to be performative. Let's see if I'm right. And, you know, with hindsight, it was a little ill-advised, but it wasn't me trying to be theatrical or get a viral moment, just to reassure you, because you and I go back a long way. I wouldn't want to deliberately put you in that position. And you very quickly responded and made me immediately realize the peril of potentially doing what I was trying to do. But in relation to what Stephen Crowder says, now look, a lot of what Stephen says, I agree with. I do think we've got to a weird place in society where words and language have been ridiculously over-weaponized and used to cancel people and ruin their lives and so on. I agree with that. But I also think there are certain things and words and phrases which have been accepted by society for quite some time now to be completely unacceptable. And one of them is the N-word, particularly when it's used against black people by white people, right? And this woman, the way this Lily Gaddis sort of proudly giggled her way, talking about how proud she is to say it and so on, I found completely repellent and disgusting. But in terms of what Stephen said about, you know, this is heading to a dangerous area if you weaponize words generally, is he right?
In the abstract, sure. I mean, I think if you weaponize a bunch of words and people don't have the safe space to say what they want or say what they believe, it could be a very dangerous space, because what I find to be offensive, you may not. What I find to be extreme, you may find to be moderate. What I may see as outside.
That's why I'm not for cancel culture. I'm not for cancel culture. I don't think, you know, like, for example, Alex Jones, I think about that. Like, when everybody in the Sun banned Alex Jones at the time, I was saying to myself, I said, you know what, they coming after Alex Jones. They gonna come after somebody else too, man. And they did. They start coming after a lot of leftists, because that's usually what happens, right? But yeah, you know, now, if somebody says something evil and vile and virtuous, yeah, they should be sanctioned for it. But anyways, than that, like, words do hurt people's feelings. Let's just keep it 100. You know, like those trolls online, they used to fuck with me. Like, I hate them people. Like, you know, they wish nothing but harmful shit to me. But do I want them to be Do I want them to be counseled? I mean, no. You get what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I want them to leave me alone. Like, that's crazy. Like, you mind your own business. You say something online that you feel like it's your opinion, whether it's right or wrong, it's an opinion. And because they don't like it, they fuck with you and dox you. Right? People start doxing people, like putting people's information out there for the ether. That's when action needs to be taken, man. Like, that's a scale beyond. Like, somebody could get fucking killed messing with these people online, man. Like, people doxing me, doxed my grandma's house, bro, over because I said F Israel. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yes, people dox me. I just, man, I'm telling you, boy.
The proverbial Overton window, you may not. And so you never want to get into a place, to use Stephen's language, where we're just doing the linguistic whack-a-mole. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I don't think that's what's at issue here. I think there are a few things. You all said a bunch of interesting things that I want to that I want to get at. The first thing is, I guess, to Stephen's initial point about my self-emasculation. at the thought. I wasn't melting down, as some on the right have said, because I was afraid that this boogeyman N-word was going to pop out of her mouth and I was going to fall away. That wasn't the point at all. I think you actually characterized it properly, Piers. I was frustrated not at the looming threat of the N-word coming out of her mouth. It was at the spectacle that I felt like in that moment was being created that was wholly unnecessary. And again, I don't think you were doing it intentionally at my expense, but we're all hosts. There's a moment where you got somebody on the ropes, and we know it's a good moment. We know it's a big moment. And getting a white person to say the N-word, it's like a few good men. It's like, did you order, it's the Jack Nicholson moment, right? If you can get them to do that, that's a big moment. And I get that. I guess my point at the time was, it's not the smoking gun that we think. White people don't lie about using the N-word. They lie about not using the N-word. If she already said, I use the N-word.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. Let's just keep this shit 100. Like, Andre Raw and Uncut. Like, we know white folks use the N-word all the time. Let's just keep it 100. Like, even some people that love black folks, they use it too. Like, but, like I said, you use it among each other, or you say it to yourself, that's fine. I can't control what you say come out of your mouth. But what I'm saying is when you use it around other black folks in terms of, just as hateful rhetoric. And then I said this before, like, something happens to you. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all seen those videos on Facebook where this woman, I think it was during the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, she called a black woman the N-word, and that black woman beat the crap out of her. Like, had her on the floor crying. Because she decided to use her free speech, since we're going to go that route. Like, words have consequences, man. They have consequences. Like, I'm just telling you the truth.
In private. So no one pretends to use the N-word when they don't. So I actually didn't think that we needed that confession out of her. For me, as far as the other point here, I don't accept Stephen's analysis here of the donations to the campaign. Even if he is right that people were donating out of some political reaction to our hypersensitivity as a society, that's the wrong person to do it to. Do it to the person that's getting doxxed.
Yeah, in the beginning of this video, they were talking about the Shiloh Hendrix thing, where she raised money after she called a autistic 5-year-old black child the N-word. Like, yeah, like the people that gave Shiloh Hendrix that money, they are just as evil and as conniving as she is. Let's just keep it 100. Like, you call a 5-year-old the N-word because it turns out he's autistic. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. A child, bro. A child. And also, too, a side note, this is in Blue Nation, Minnesota. A blue state. So it shows you that no matter what state you in, racism is there. Well, I don't know her political affiliation. It really don't matter, but I'm just saying, like, yeah. Had to say that as well.
Because they made a mistake 10 years ago. Do it to the person who rapped the N-word, on Gold Digger, and suddenly it has lost their ability to go to college. There's all kinds of people who we might say, even if we don't agree fully on the context, who we could say, hey, is a better example of the cause. But as you said, Piers, this is somebody who was using the word in the exact context that we're afraid of, or not afraid of, in the exact context that we're frustrated about, in the exact context that we think it's being used in. And so to dump money, almost $800,000 into her coffers, it ultimately rewards her for using that language. Imagine.
Now, this racist Karen got $800,000, while Carmelo Anthony got, what, $300,000? And let's just keep it 100. The racist crackers lost their shit. Over 300 grand. Saying they bought a house, their family bought a house with it. Carmelo's family bought a house with it. They bought cars with it, which in fact that they were upper middle class people. They was living comfortably. So he had money, like it's crazy. People can say anything online. And the saddest thing about it, I think a lot of these people kind of know they full of shit, but they know that shitting on black people is a quick way to get a quick buck off the internet. Like, just keep this shit 100, man. Like no investigation, no looking into stuff. Just saying, oh, Carmelo is a thug. his parents, these his parents are taking that money from Give Send Go, which they didn't touch initially. They didn't touch it. It was still in there. They had all that stuff before all this shit happened. But Shiloh Hendricks could call her child the N-word, and she gets almost $1 million. Like, I still, like, my conspiratorial brain's kicking in. I really think that was a grift. It was a grift. That's shallow.
If an arsonist were to set a building on fire, and all three of us agreed that that arson should not get the death penalty. I think we probably all agree on that. But if we were to then take $1 million and dump it in their GoFundMe to fund the arsonist's legal defense, and now they get off, is that the right way to do it? Is that the right call? There might be other ways to do it than to fund the person who's done something.
Mr. Crowder has very politely raised his right hand to speak, which I think is a rare example of good manners on this program. So, Stephen, your response.
Well, it's the Canadian in me, and actually, Dr. Hill and I have go a while back on Fox News, and like I said, he's always been a gentleman, and I do accept his. I saw him on a podcast later explaining that he didn't know who the guest was going to be. This is after the fact, and I have a much greater understanding now. I also get it. I will say, great, now do stabbing, and I think I know what the answer is going to be. Can we both, if we want to find common ground here, agree that, yeah, we really find ourselves at a weird point in this country when a bunch of people are giving to a lady who yells the N-word at a 5-year-old, and a bunch of people are giving to someone who is famous for no other reason than allegedly stabbing an innocent person? I know that we'll say it's because innocent until proven.
Well, I would say he said famous. I don't think Carmelo Anthony wanted to be famous. Carmelo Anthony was minding his own business. And again, I would say, like, I mean, it's unfortunate that Metcalf boy got murdered. It's unfortunate, but like I said, actions have consequences. Like, it should leave Carmelo Anthony alone. Like, he was in the tent. Like, people say he was in the wrong tent, which, like, there's no assign. I'm pretty sure, like, I heard that there's no assigned seating at these high school events, and it was raining, so you're trying to stay dry. So you'll go in any tent you can. You'll seek any shelter you can, right? Like, I just can't with these people. Like, let me continue.
Proven guilty, but this is the information that we have on both of these scenarios at this point in time. And what I'm discussing is the prescription moving forward. And one final thing. Here's the point that I was making that you didn't show in that clip too, was saying that it's racist for someone to say they would prefer to live in a predominantly white neighborhood, or they would prefer to live in their neighborhood, which is not black, I believe is what they said. And I don't believe it was necessarily her. I believe there was a man on the panel who said that, but you do. And I'm not going to attribute racism in your heart because only 4% of the population where you're placed in Los Angeles is black. I think we need to stop attributing and imbuing hatred, and I think we need to stop empowering them. But we do find ourselves at a point in this country where neither of these give, send, goes would have blown up if it existed 10 years ago. Why? How did we get here?
I actually, well, Mark, I'll get you to respond. I have to say, in a way, completely different scenario, but how we got here, I think the same blame can be attached to how we got here to what is going on with the reaction to Joe Biden's health news. I made a point last night on X when that story broke. I was staggered by the instantaneous mockery, abuse, glee, ecstasy, desire for him to die that poured out in response to my tweet revealing this news about him having aggressive advanced stage 4 prostate cancer metastasizing to his bones, which is clearly an incredibly serious situation for a man of his age.
Let me say this. First of all, most of us, like he's saying it from a perspective of we want him to die. I never said that. Like, I don't wish death upon nobody. But again, you do shit to yourself by bumming cancer hospitals in Gaza. The reason why a lot of people are happy, people were happy that this news broke out is because Joe Biden did a whole lot of bad shit. Let's keep it 100. A whole lot of bad shit. Like saying with the CEO that got murdered by, got murdered in December. Like, he was a bad person. Like the reason why a lot of people didn't get life-saving health care that they should have gotten. Like people are tired, bro. Like see, 10, 15, 20 years ago, yeah. Like even me, like I'll say, oh damn, man, like that's fucked up. Biden got cancer. I hope he get better. Like I was in a different time, but now just thinking about it, like I mean, the chickens come home to roost. I mean, yeah, people will say, yeah, they wish he unalive, but again, it's like, yeah, Biden did this to himself, you know, um, like, yeah, wrong, right, like, I'm kind of like skeptical of talking about this like this, but I don't know, so yeah, people are just tired, Piers.
That's made the point. The guy served his country for 50 years. Whatever you think of it, this is the moment just to wish him well.
Yeah, okay. I mean, served it how? He did a lot of good shit or he did a lot of bad shit? In my eyes, working with a segregationist, the crime bill, the bankruptcy bill, um, supported the Iraq war, uh, supported drone strikes during the Obama administration, fucking said that he'll veto Medicare for all if it goes onto his desk, supported the genocide in Gaza, which AOC lied and said that they were working tirelessly for a ceasefire. It turns out Biden never gave a shit about the ceasefire until to the end, which he didn't even have no input in that. Trump had an input in that, and Trump wasn't even president, sworn in yet. So yeah, it's like yeah, I can be, I can do something for a long time, but that don't mean people have to respect me. The fuck? All because he served 50 years. You shouldn't say that Biden deserved to have such a very, very atrocious disease. Like, did it to himself, man. And then don't get me started on this shit again. Like, it takes time for cancer to metastasize onto your bones and other parts of your body. Like, cancer had to be in your body for years. It had to spread. So they knew this man had cancer. He was still president. I don't know how we even got to this Biden part. Piers I guess he just had this in his heart, I guess. Like, like, they knew this man had cancer while he was serving president. And they kept this shit from us because apparently Jake Tapper and somebody else coming out with a book basically saying, yeah, Biden had cognitive issues all this time. And I guess the cancer diagnosis will, like, thumb down all of the other shit. I guess to gain sympathy. So, miss me with that shit, man. Like, fuck that shit. Just for this, fuck it.
Isn't it? The answer was no, and it's carried on being no for the next 24 hours in the most stunningly abusive, horrific, ghastly manner, totally inhumane to me. And I think the common theme, Stephen, of the two things is social media. Social media has, I think, inflamed social and racial tensions to a point where people just don't think the normal rules of society apply. They could be as disgusting and inhumane and racist.
Well, okay. You said that social media can be disgusting and inhumane, but like the things Joe Biden did, for example, the things that Brian Thompson did, like, I mean, they weren't even on social media. They just did this shit out in the open. So you can say the same thing about them too. Like Joe Biden, yeah, like I said, but about them too. Like, so people should have sympathy for people that do evil things, whereas the people that are just calling them out on their bullshit, saying how they really feel, they're the evil people. Like, okay, like yeah, that's the logic that the people need to hear. Piers, yeah, that's this is why I'm not sold on this guy, man. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, even I say this myself at times too. Like, a lot of people, it's social media appeal too damn much. Like, they just own it too much, think about it too much. Like, social media in the real world is two different things. But again, it's like in this case of Joe Biden, like, he did horrible things. He's at where he at, like stage 4 cancer. It's a serious thing. Like I had family, my grandma, my dad, my mom, and my auntie. 4 people in my family had cancer. My auntie died of cancer. My mama survived. My dad died. So I had 2 out of 4 people died of cancer. Like, yeah, but again, like people telling me that, hey, how you feel if somebody wish bad things on your family and have cancer? I'm like, I had people in my family that had cancer, bro, but they didn't commit a genocide. That's the only difference. Like, they didn't commit a genocide. That's the only difference. Oh God.
And sexist and whatever they want to be as they like, with no accountability in almost every case. And we've become almost neutralized to that kind of thing. And part of the problem is that when people like you and me, and Mark, I'm sure, launch staunch defenses of the right to free speech, the wrong ears take it as the right to be openly racist and all these other things with no accountability. They misunderstand what free speech actually entails. It doesn't mean you're never going to be held accountable for what you say. When Shiloh Hendricks said that she said the N-word, whatever,
Exactly. Like, because you can say the N-word don't mean like you're going to get away saying that shit. Like, eventually something's going to happen. Like, I'm just saying. Call
this was her right to free speech. Yeah, but everybody else has a right to hold you accountable for it. And it's the second part of that equation, which is, I think, important. So, Stephen, your response to my thesis.
Yeah. Yes, I disagree. I think social media is a part of it, but I also don't think that we're dealing with an accountability culture as far as the country. I think we're dealing with a false accountability culture as far as the media and those in the establishment. You have myself, for example, who was demonetized, throttled on YouTube for simply using the term lesbian queer, someone who referred to themselves as a lesbian queer. It was a quote. Then moved over to Rumble, and after the Exodus, Diageo, in charge of 80% of the world's advertising, told Rumble that it wasn't enough to demonetize myself, but that they wouldn't spend $1 of advertising on the entire platform, an alternative platform to YouTube, unless I was moved. You've had entire governments try and remove platforms for freedom of speech. This is not the accountability that people in the streets.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Palestinian people, like Obrego Garcia, Mahmoud Khalil. Like, they supported Palestine, and they are, I mean, not Obrego Garcia, Mahmoud Khalil, not Obrego Garcia. My bad, guys. I'm all over the place, man. Oh, man. So many viewpoints. But, like, Mahmoud Khalil, like, he's still detained in Louisiana, prison, detention facility, I mean, because of his freedom of speech. Like, yeah, that's why I'm against censorship on social media, too. Like, yeah, like, it's a problem. YouTube... I can get into that, but let me continue.
Are calling for what is being called for example, from people in the media, is a lie. They would rather hear a lie than the truth. And so you have people checking out. For example, someone's afraid to say, could be my black neighbors, but it's anecdotal. I'm not supposed to say the black friend thing. Move to the same neighborhood I have because it's safer and there's a stronger sense of community. But if you want me to lie to you and say, I picked that neighborhood and it just so happens to be more mixed or more white, but my neighbor's a former Dallas Cowboy, you can demand a lie, but the media is demanding the lie, not the American people. I am in no way concerned going down to a black neighborhood because I do it to the tune of hours, hundreds of hours of footage and hundreds of millions of views discussing these issues. The challenge I run into is when someone else, a third party, wants to play a game of telephone and tell them that it's racist. You can go and watch. I had not 1, not 2, but 10 people in this installment say, yeah, I think all lives matter. I think anyone who says that's white supremacy is out of their mind. They don't speak for us, the black community. I'd never know that unless I had that conversation with them. Very few people are doing it. You're demanding a lie of people.
Okay, Mark, your response.
Lots of things. Again, first, I think Stephen is, and I don't assign to you any ill intent, but you're comparing apples and oranges here when we talk about the Carmelo Anthony and the racist woman, I can't think of her name, video.
Lily Gaddis.
I think, as you pointed out
Shiloh
all day,
Hendricks,
not Lily Gaddis, but
you're talking about Shiloh Hendricks,
yeah. Shiloh Hendricks, yes. When you talk about context, I think we have to look at context in the context even of these GoFundMes, right? The people who are funding Carmelo Anthony, you can tell this from the comments, this isn't my guess, they're not saying good job. They're saying we don't believe that you're guilty. We don't believe that you've gotten a fair legal process. And so we're sending money to make sure that you get a proper legal defense because we don't believe that you are guilty of this crime. That is what they're saying. Now, you and I may look at the evidence and come to the same conclusion or a different conclusion, but they're not attempting to reward the behavior. They're attempting to challenge a system that they feel like is misrepresenting the behavior. In the case of the N-word and this woman, right, Shiloh, what's happening is quite different. They're not saying, hey, we feel like she's taken such a loss from her free exercise of free speech that we want to reimburse her for that. That would be a different argument. I still wouldn't want to do it, but that would at least be logically and morally consistent. When you look in the comments and when you talk to people who are funding that campaign, they are literally shouting the N-word. They are literally echoing the racial epithet, and that is different.
Exactly. Steven Crowder, I don't really know him much because I'm not really online like that. There's so many fucking personalities online, man. It's just like the podcast world is just so flooded with mostly bullshit. Let's just keep it 100. Like, it's a few good ones, but most of this shit is just really just an echo chamber. The liberals on their shit, the right on their shit. Let me say this. America's a racist ass country, and what Shiloh Hendrix did, those people that gave her all that money, they loved it. Yeah, you got a few Negroes in there that gave her money too because they have some hatred towards black people for some reason, which that could be another live stream or a Patreon episode because you can't say everything on YouTube. But yeah, versus Carmelo, who basically black people who knows have been screwed over by this injustice system we have in this country, saying like, hey, this bro need the best attorney money can buy because his life is on the line. Like, this guy didn't want to be in this situation. Carmelo Anthony should be fucking getting ready to go to college, man. Like, he's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure he'll be something great in this world. Like, more black people need more. We need more, black people are smart, but Carmelo Anthony is a good example of to get rid of the narrative of black people ain't crap to racist people. But I'm just saying, it's like it's apples and oranges, man. Like, how can you say what Carmelo Anthony did versus what Shiloh Hendrix did correlates to a point to where, like, hey, both bad, but you can't construe them too. Like, fuck that shit, bro. Tell you, man.
That's why I say, if this is really going to be a First Amendment cause, again, and not the lie that you're talking about, then let's invest in actual First Amendment causes and not this. And to your second point, I agree, and then I got you wholeheartedly. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with making decisions about where you want to live. But there's a huge difference between saying, I want to live in a statistically safe neighborhood, or I want to live in a historically safe neighborhood, and I don't want to live around black people under any circumstances. And again, the latter is what came out in our conversation on the show the last time. And we're melding those two things as if they are the same, and then acting as if there's just no room for a white person or a black person, for that matter, to exercise any radical honesty about where they want to live. I ain't met a person yet that doesn't want to live in a safe neighborhood. I want to live in a safe neighborhood. I also want to live around black people. People can make their own choices, but let's not pretend they're the same.
I'm pretty sure everybody wants to live in a safe neighborhood. Like, duh. I mean, that's a duh. That's like a duh position. I think the problem is that some people are racist. They don't want to live around other people. They want to live around their own people, and it's their right. I want to live around anybody I want to. Like, I don't want to see race in a way. Like, I don't look at a white person, oh, they white, or a Hispanic person, oh, they Hispanic. I look at them as people. But a lot of people don't think like me. Or a lot of people don't think like Smurf, the former member of ATP Network. Like, we had this conversation a few times. Like, I told Smurf, like, bro, I get what you're saying. Like, we shouldn't look at race, but, like, I mean, Canada and America is two different countries. Maybe Canada probably, I don't know. Like, I heard things about Canada too as well. But I'm just saying, like, we live in two different countries. Even though we close to each other, like, Canada's on top of America, it's like some people are just I mean, just the bottom dub position is again is like some people just racist. Like they don't live around black folk. Why you think we still like in terms of housing like black white a lot of black people move into a nicer neighborhood, they have a more harder time because of their skin color. It's not about their income. It's not about their credit for things that you need to buy a house, right? It's their skin color. But let me continue. I think we're almost done with this. Yeah, we're almost done with this.
Same thing.
Okay, we've got to end it there. I would say, in answer to your question, Stephen, I would say in both the GoFundMe cases, I think it's wrong. I think the intent.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like one of them. I mean, one of them is wrong. The other one is right. How can you say that again, Piers? Like the guy, Carmelo Anthony, did what he had to do in self-defense. I don't think Carmelo Anthony is just a murderous person. But it is what it is. Everybody has an opinion, right?
Stabbing is worse than a word.
I think the intentions on both sides are actually malevolent and wrong. They're not doing it out of any great sense of social justice or anything. They're doing it because they're taking a side based on skin color in both those stories, I think. So I think
murder is worse than yelling.
Yeah, listen.
I think
allegedly stabbing someone to death is worse than
getting
using
legally
an ugly
railroaded
word.
is a worse outcome than getting held accountable for using the N-word.
Yeah, but
it's all about the framing.
But Stephen's point is that one is worse than the other.
I don't think we can end this on this, Pierce. I can take 30 seconds here. If we're
Right,
talking about
right,
accountability,
but
like I said,
the league, but we're pretending. So
are you against catch and release?
That
Are you
framing
against
suggests
no
that the
cash
money
bail?
is going for the
Are you against
behavior.
the discount under $1,000 or less, where a shopkeeper has to close down because of the name of systemic restorative justice? Are you against cash and release? Are you against cash bail? Are you against the idea that people can shoplift and not be held accountable for their actions? Let's talk real accountability for actions and not false accountability for words. I believe that stabbing someone is worse than saying a word. Both are bad.
I mean, that's a dumb position. Well, like killing somebody is worse than calling somebody the N-word. But again, in this case, doing what you have to do in self-defense is more justified than a woman calling an autistic child the N-word. Okay? Like, oh God.
Hey, Mr. Traditional.
You know what?
Okay. Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that.
Quickly.
Because again, that is a disingenuous framing. No one is arguing that stabbing someone is better than using the word. My point is our response as a community to the stabbing is not to say, great job. Our response is, this was awful, but let's find out what really happened. No one is saying on the other side of this issue that N-word thing is awful, but let's hold this woman accountable, but let's not go too far. And if they are, I'm okay with that. But it's not apples and oranges. No one is saying what that woman did is worse than that kid getting stabbed. They're saying that the story of the stabbing hasn't been told well or properly, and we want justice for everybody. And to answer your cash bail, yes, I'm against cash bail, but I don't believe but I don't believe that's the only way to hold people accountable. You can hold people accountable without cash bail.
I've got to leave.
All right, I ended there. Damn. Yeah. Shout out to Malcolm Hill, man. Like that dude. He keeps it real, man. I like that, man. I really do. I just one more thing before I get to the last story. I just so sick of smug people, like Steven Crowder, that John Spencer dude. They're just so smug and they look like they think they right about everything. Like I just can't stand people like that. It just rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, man, yeah. I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna get to the last point. Like I can't believe that Piers will say that both what mostly black people are doing for Carmelo Anthony is just as bad of what racist ass crackers are doing for Shiloh Hendrix. Like that don't make any that's not the same situation. It's not like Carmelo Anthony was just this murderous person going around stabbing people for no reason, and then all of us black people, well, not all black, but people giving him money for that. Like that'll be the same thing, but it's not. But all right, guys, on to the next story. All right, guys. So the last story I want to talk about today is Trump is, like I said earlier, man. Trump is petty as hell. Like I mean, like, hey, you won't teach MAGA in schools? I mean, college? Hey, we'll just take all your federal contracts away, which that has to be illegal, right? I think it's illegal, but um, but it says it's on NBC News. It says Trump administration seeks to end all federal contracts with Harvard, and I'm gonna play the video. If you can get their thoughts on it. Oh.
Garrett, tell us more about this move to essentially cut all federal government ties with Harvard.
Yeah, that's the way it was described to me, as the federal government basically getting out of business with Harvard University. It comes in the form of a letter from the General Services Administration to all federal agencies, instructing them where possible to end their federal contracts with Harvard and essentially find somewhere else to spend the taxpayers' money. Now, administration official says they're really probably talking about 30 different contracts across the government that include Harvard University, but not Harvard-affiliated hospitals. And that they think will add up to something around $100 million. Now, that doesn't come anywhere close to the president's recent threat to stop another $3 billion in grant funds, but it does represent another escalation as the as the administration seems to be digging as deep as they can into their toolbox.
All of this because of the Harvard students seeing that genocide is bad and that Trump is a petty man. It's crazy. Oh, man.
Find as many ways as possible to hurt Harvard over what started as a disagreement about how Harvard was handling anti-Semitism on campus and has now spiraled out into something much larger than that.
It's not about anti-Semitism. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but I bring it back. It's not about anti-Semitism. It was never about anti-Semitism, bro. Oh God. Like I'm not gonna keep. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep beating this dead horse. Like we know. If you know, you know. But let me read this a little bit. Then I'm in this stream. It says the Trump administration intends to ask all federal agencies to seek ways to end their contracts worth an estimated $100 million. With Harvard University, a senior administration official told NBC News on Tuesday, GSA will send. Sorry about that, guys. What the fuck? It said GSA will send a letter to federal agencies today asking them to identify any contracts with Harvard and whether they can be canceled or redirected elsewhere, the senior official said, referring to the General Services Administration. Well, from what I know is that don't the Congress have the power to purse? I don't think Trump can like just stop these contracts. Like, I mean, in a like a perfect society, the president can't or his administration can't stop contracts. Like, it's contracts for a reason. Like, Congress could stop it. You see what I'm saying? But like, like, to be honest with you, like, these motherfuckers been getting away with doing shit, cutting shit. So, but let me continue. The development was first reported by the New York Times. The proposed cuts mark the latest escalation in a month-long fight between the Trump administration and the nation's oldest and arguably most prestigious university. A copy of the letter obtained by NBC News instructs agencies to respond to the GSA with a list of contracts they have terminated with the university by June 6. Going forward, we also encourage your agency to seek alternative vendors for future services where you had previously considered Harvard, reads the letter signed by John Gooseburn, the commissioner of the GSA's Federal Acquisition Service. Gooseburn described the administration's actions as bolstering civil rights. He accused Harvard of defying a Supreme Court ruling that banned considering race in its administration process of ongoing inaction over the harassment of its Jewish students. What harassment? A separate administration official confirmed to NBC News that roughly 30 contracts would be under review. According to the official, they include a $39,000 contract for a graduate student research services, a $50,000 contract with the National Institute of Health to investigate the effects of coffee drinking, and a $523,000 contract to conduct research on energy drinks. I mean, like that's chunk change of contracts. And maybe it's important to know like the effects of what coffee does to a body, right? And energy drinks especially, right? I mean, that's important. It's important to like like science evolves over time. Like new research comes out. Everything is peer reviewed. So like you cutting important research. Like this is the same administration that cut out pediatric cancer research. So I mean, like I know a lot of my comrades don't want to talk about Trump. Which is their thing. Hey, like it kind of do make sense. Like all of us used to be on the Democratic side at one point, so it makes sense to shit on the party that always make false promises. But in my eyes, sometimes I mean Trump is doing things like that. Really, the other party wants to do too. In a way, they do it in a way, but it's more secretive. So I kind of get it. But let me continue. Read a little bit more of this. It said the directive comes the day after Trump said in a post on Truth Social that he was considering taking a $3 billion in grant money away from what is called a very anti-Semitic Harvard, giving the funds to trade schools instead. Yeah, I highly doubt that money is going to trade schools, bro. Um, I highly doubt it. Harvard President Alan Gerber responded to Trump's post on Tuesday when interviewed with NPR, raising concerns about how the cuts will affect research that he says will benefit the country. I'm less concerned about whether it goes to a trade school or it goes to another project, like working on highways, he said. What the real question is, how much value does the federal government set from its expenditures on research? There's a lot of actual research demonstrating the returns to the American people have been enormous, he added. The feud between the government and Harvard largely stems from the university's refusal to comply with sweeping demands from the Trump administration's task force to combat anti-Semitism. Oh, God. Last month, I'm so sick of this anti-Semitism shit, bro. Like, saying free Palestine from the river to the sea and want your school to diverge from Israel is not anti-Semitism. Oh, God. And then most Jews are for Palestine. So, again, like I always keep saying, I know I keep repeating myself. Is the Jews are anti-Semitic too? They support Palestine? Like, okay. In response, the administration stripped the university of $2 billion in federal research funding. It says the administration has sought to block Harvard's ability to enroll foreign students last week. I covered that on this channel. An effort that a federal judge temporarily halted after the university sued. A hearing on whether the judge's order should be extended is set for Thursday. If the administration effort is successful, Harvard's foreign students, who make up roughly fourth of the university's student body, will lose their legal status to stay in the United States or will have to transfer to a different university. So, yeah, Trump coming out the Harvard hard, man. Like, hey, it's more than the anti-Semitic shit. It's Trump being petty and want Harvard to cave to his demands, like I said. So yeah, typical Trump, man. Like every day is like, what else this administration gonna do? Like I'm just telling you. So all right, guys, bonus video. The last segment was supposed to be the last thing I'm supposed to talk about, but hell, why not? Yeah, I know y'all heard about white people complaining about a genocide in South Africa. Oh my God, what will we do? Like ignoring the fact that the real genocide is in Gaza and also too in the Sudan and the Congo. But let's not talk about that because those people, brown people, they're black and brown people. They ain't important. But yeah, I got this video right here, man. Oh God, like they're trying to make the South African president, Trump, trying to make him like I guess feel bad, like, oh, you're killing all the white folks. And first of all, because the government took back their farmland, like 13% of the population control 80% of the farmland in South Africa. Like that's the math ain't mathing there, man. Like I'm just Just out there saying it. But anyway, let's watch this bullshit.
What would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective.
Man, Trump looks so goddamn uncomfortable, bro. Like, goddamn, like, this motherfucker. Yeah, try down Trump, boy. Trump. I'm looking like a fucking retard right now. Oh, God, like, Trump just looks so uncomfortable. Like, even he said, hey, it's not a genocide, bro. Like, his agricultural folk is with him in the White House. Like, this shit's funny as hell, man. Like, oh my God, MAGA crazy, bro. I'm telling you, man.
That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And
made up documentaries, made up stories, blah, 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 blah.
Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do, with or without you. People are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care.
Oh, God. Oh, what this supposed to do? Oh, it's supposed to make the president of South Africa look in his cabinet look bad. Oh my God. What would we do? Oh. Man, these motherfuckers came with a video. God damn. Just making up shit. But
hey, we can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yeah. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are.
Again, because they took back the fucking farmland, white folks in that country, and some of these crackers in America got feelings hurt. Like, I could use the same rhetoric with Bill Gates. Like, he bought land in Louisiana, the part I'm at, the Delta part in Mississippi, and other parts of the country. But that's not a problem, though. Oh, no, that's normal for a billionaire to buy up all the land, you know. And these lame motherfuckers complain that China has land in the United States. I don't think it's as much land as Bill Gates and the other billionaires got. Give me a break.
Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill the mother, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer.
Have these fucking people forgot, like Trump and them? I mean, Trump don't really give a fuck. But I'm just talking about like people in general. Like, how they forgot about the apartheid in South Africa? Like that one thing, and now you finding ways to complain. Like, come on, bro. Oh God, like I just had to bring it up as a side piece.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have turned a white man. Not because.
It also to him add too as a point, like, oh, it's okay for the white South Africans to come to the United States, like they welcome, you know, but the immigrants coming over here is an issue, so let's ship them to a slave camp and, you know, and whatever else, you know, nice detention facilities, like just the double standard of way they treat brown and black people versus white folks, like.
Pajama and Sony will not be touched. There will be touched, no one. But we're starting with this whiteness. We're cutting the throat of whiteness in Ghana. Shoot, kill, Yamasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa. Shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer. Brr, pa.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I never see the future.
Yeah, but, I mean, you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocide on that.
I think if this is a video to like shame people, to shame the government of South Africa, like you're doing a bad job, bro. Like this shit getting me hyped. God damn, you getting me hyped. Holy shit.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road you have crosses.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna believe anything that Donald Trump comes out of his orange ass mouth. Like, come on. Oh God.
Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because there's a...
It's not even in South Africa, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Even the president of South Africa say, like, you know where that is at? Do you know where that is? Trump don't even know what it is. He just say shit out of his goddamn orange mouth, man. Oh my God, bro.
I've never seen. Okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, And in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to.
So basically, yeah, like they are a minority party, but like, you know, at least South Africa, to be honest with you, got more than one fucking party. I mean, that's good. Like, I'm jealous of other countries that have more than fucking two of the same fucking party, which is meant to divide the American people anyway. Like, you know, kudos to those countries, man. Like, I really don't think America will never have another alternative party to the Democrat and Republican. Like, oh god, like yeah.
Take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
and
take
then when
land.
they take the land,
Take land, like you orange bastard. Like they white folk, like a few white folk own 80% of the farmland in South Africa. So the government took it back because, you know, like when the rest of the people need some access to the land as well. Oh, your feelings is hurt. Oh, my feelings. Oh, you know, cry me a river, man. Holy shit. Cry me a fucking river.
they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens to
them.
them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people.
Exactly. I'm gonna end it there, man. Like, so you don't give a fuck about the black folks getting killed, but the white folks, you know, they get murdered. You know, oh Lord, I gotta make a video shaming, you know, the people of South Africa for killing the white folk, the good folk. Man, fuck out of here, bro. Like, fuck out of here, man. Oh god. But anyway, that's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed a 2-hour banger of me, you know, of me speaking truth to power, man. I try to get y'all raw and uncut much as I can with YouTube guidelines in effect, you know. Have to go around the bases. I know some things slip out, but that's unintentional when you're in the moment. But anyway, again, shameless plugs. Follow the official ATP Network Twitter account. Why keep saying official? Just follow the ATP Network Twitter account, man. I'm gonna try to get that back up and running. It's just been a lot of changes in the network, man. It's just so much right now, but man, we just started anyway. Like, shit takes time. People, you know, going through stuff and shit like that. Follow us at ATP Network 247. Like and subscribe to the ATP Network if you watching this on YouTube and Rumble for the first time. Thank you so much for watching our shit. You know, man, sometimes it's not easy, but, you know, I try to get it done. And also, too, man, if you care about what's going on in Gaza, man, go to GazaFunds.com. Help any way possible, man. Like, if you throw a bone to them, or even just sharing the damn links, man, makes a big difference. Like, I don't understand why people are just so hesitant to do something simple and share a link. I just don't understand. Like, if people share it and people retweet it, it goes out more. But anyway, GazaFunds.com. So without further ado, y'all, thank you so much for watching The Good Faith Show. I'm Andre Morton signing out. Have a good one. And oh yeah, by the way, what I always do now, fuck Benjamin Netanyahu.